A very good evening. It's You're listening to media reviews by Duo TV, and we are with us Nasir Kar, the founder of VRP Duo. Today, today's topic is 5G, and where he'll explain to us a bit more about what 5G mobile networks is. Welcome aboard. Yes, hi there. Thanks for being with me today. And here's a presentation I just made. It is a year ago on 5G and communication technologies, based upon research and studies on mobile network management. Um, there are actually many things out there regarding 5G based health issues and security issues linked up to new world order and the satanic widespread systems, etc., on and on. I can just assure you that we're not going to take up all of those issues here and now, but rather through my short presentation, I would like to just explain the concepts of the fifth generation of these radio and mobile technologies. We'll try to, I'll mention 4 to 5 parts comprising very technical information, but I hope you'll like it because, I mean, if you understand the technology, you'll also understand where we are. So let me just jump into it. Well, first and foremost, when it comes to frequencies, um, like 4G, 5G will also be ranging between 7 and 100 gigahertz. The main difference is that the spectrums and frequencies are um, different at several levels. And while we've had MIMO for several years, we have now something called massive MIMO. Beamforming full duplex is something many network professionals, experts know already about. And don't worry about if you don't know about it. Just listen and learn. Real life motions from non-standalone to standalone network based on network frequencies to SDN, also quite widespread and popular practices within network technologies, and where the new capacity would be in a range from 10 gigabit per second and upwards to 20. That's what we have learned in the past years. And the capacity is expected to boost by from 100 to minimum 1,000 times more. Because you'll see that if you make a recording with your mobile phone for about 20 minutes and probably 25 minutes with 1,000 megapixel HD um, range, you'll see that you'll spend storage capacity of almost 3 gigabytes without compression, etc. So we need speed, we need the capacity, we need the storage. And with us, we have enhanced mobile broadband and critical communication to ultra reliable and low latency communication. So, moreover, from internet over technology, we have now massive IoT devices. We have already seen many of these sensors at the parking halls in some newer cars, on probably vessels coming within air traffic control, airports, camera systems, and tolls stations. Much technology there, tracking devices on everything from your mobile to trucks and buses and cars, and logistics tracking, shipping for communication purposes, and postal services. But also nowadays, when it comes to fire and coronavirus, all the emergency services need blunt and high alerted, technical solutions for maximum efficiency. And sooner or later, more technologies will come. All of Most of these things are covered under massive IoT range, where devices use internet connectivity for communication. And we have other industrial solutions related to power. That can be electricity, your diesel, your petrol, energy, uh, yeah, plants, oil and refinery, rigs, water levels, drinking water, fresh water, salt water, even radars, temperature, farming. Very interesting development within the agriculture, gas and fire detection, healthcare related, mobility, pollution control, viral control. And some of these technologies being which has been developed within the 5 years now is quadruple amplitude modulation, cam modulation, where the new devices can basically now be configured with four antennas, or so-called channels. And yeah, we're talking about typical mobile phones, but also other dilemmas. 5G now possible with eight antennas also, to increase the capacity four times more, or practically eight times more than the speed with 4G. And technically speaking, we are also migrating from 128 bits data transfer to 256 bits. Uh, and what we are waiting for is better and longer battery capacity, and maybe new solutions based on solar charging. And for some um, of you, while we have been um, connected to the 2.4 gigahertz uh, mobile network for some years now, The range can be now extended to 5 gig, which is also better known as unlicensed to licensed connectivity. And except from massive IoT, we have also something called narrowband IoT, which can be compared with Bluetooth to give you extremely good quality of service on smaller machines, LTE, like home and office, and inside a plant or factory communication. Just to mention something, it could be many other things like a remote bus and cars and bikes you need for communication or other setup functionality. How much time do we have? Oh, let me just see if there was something. Yes, as I mentioned, long range van will use battery devices on low power van. That means that the electricity and battery usage will be uh, much lower, while virtual evolved packet core will be virtual controllers communicating with servers. And there's something called CRAN, Central Radio Access Network, which is fiber connected with the CPU radio interfaces. Some of this is developed by China and Japan, but also US and other countries may have other standards. So we're also trying to standardize much of these technologies. Mobile edge computing has been in the market for some years, focusing on high availability of data, low data latency, and high security. Coming back to high security, and 5G new radio. Yeah, that is very important. And the technology can now have 8 component carriers, um, varying from 100 megahertz to 1 gigahertz on a speed of 10 gigabit per second. And just to explain this briefly, quality versus cost, flexibility versus control, and quickly first mover or faster services. That's what we want. No, but the explanation is that all of these, your items, equipment, gadgets, do not need to or will not be communicating on one spectrum or frequency. So here is some of the fun for all you multimedia lovers. What we are looking forward to is 4K or 4,000 bit streaming to 8,000 live broadcasting. If you are here right now, will be there. Yeah, I can also mention some high capacity artificial reality with 3D videos, 6 devices video also demands bit rates in the range of 200 to megabit. Okay, device relative data usage. Yeah, smartphones will be able to operate on 24 times faster streaming, handheld gaming consoles 60 times, tablets 122 times, laptop 515 times, next generation hotspot. Yeah, hotspots, communication protocols enabling mobile phones or other devices to share data and for connection. Scalability, some carriers' Wi Fi networks comprise tens of thousands of access nodes, and mobility roaming support is the ability to maintain a session while moving between Wi Fi access points. So that gives us freedom to connect up with other hotspots or Wi Fi points um, for better streaming capacities. When it comes to some other fact based um, news, Internet over Everything, IoE, towards machine to machine acceleration. SON means self organizing network. Um, that will help the ordinary network user to have a lot of fun and connectivity almost automatically. Personal, family, business, public sector, government usage, and for any purpose. And hyperdense small cells. I can come back to femtocells and the subordinate technology in within the mobile technologies and radio networks and data communication, which now will be around 32 cells, giving us 8.5 hours of services. And then there is something called machine type communication, connecting up to 50 billion devices with this in the coming years. Energy efficiency will obviously increase the quality of experience. And yeah, I studied a lot of these area and geographical capacities, which I will not get into, which I will just leave for now, but that will boost with 1,000 times higher area capacity and 10 to 100 times higher number of connected devices, 10 to 100 times higher typical user data rate, and 10 times longer battery life for low power MTC, and 5 times reduced end to end latency compared to LTE-A. Mobile IPv, yeah, uh, from Wi Fi and data networks towards mobile IPv6, which means that mobile phones and devices will be using this IP version 6 control protocol, and will have distributed mobility management, and F5 future internet will partially distributed model and fully distributed model. Um, this means that we'll be able to, instead of have 10 devices, let's say we have four, two mobiles, two, three computers, and upstairs max three, four, five, up to 10 devices. Then can easily scale up to 20 and 30, up to 100 devices. So a femtocell is different from the traditional small cells in its need to be more autonomous and self-adaptive. And class of service-based, aggregated resource provisioning, network resource provisioning, MoFi, mobile-oriented future internet, scalable adaptive internet solutions. MEME is mobility management mechanisms defined in the generic path architecture. Anchorless mobility concept allows local routing and thereby leads to reduced transmission delay and lower bandwidth utilization. Dynamic mobility anchoring DMA is already in system. Anchorless mobility, that also I think. Multi-homed end-to-end mobility, MEME. And then we have DTN, delay tolerant network mobility, first integrates heterogeneous network domains like ad hoc and DTN. So, for those of you familiar with data and network technology, most of these things have been in the market with the 4G um, scalability and developments for years now. And that is, in fact, my purpose to explain to you that I think 60% of, or up to 70% of 5G technology has already been in use more or less for some years now, while femto, pico, there are some terms for urban and terrestrial and home-based and office-based connectivity ranges. And why is that important? Well, if you're on an international airport right now with 10,000 travelers, um, you will, and most of them are connected onto a mobile network, then most likely there will be some sort of connectivity issues if everyone are using streaming services, YouTube, etc. So for architects, it's very important to be able to scale up users after an expected growth rate and needs micro urban areas to fill macro coverage gaps, few hundred meters, metro urban areas to provide additional capacity, couple of hundred meters, Wi-Fi residential office and enterprise environments, tens of meters. So Wi-Fi 2 or Wi-Fi 3, that is how easy it's possible to actually explain um, the technology to you. We're not going to, yeah, I was not going to tell you more about data, telecom security, and um, hazardous or the danger with 5G here and now. So many thanks for having me, and I hope that you enjoyed this session. Yeah, over to you. This is Media Reviews by Duot TV. Thanks for watching.